Richie, I want to start with a comment that Paul made after the victory at Port Vale when he said, this weekend wouldn't be a weekend off for you guys. I know you were in yesterday, but you were, I think, out watching games as well on the Saturday. Can you talk us through what a Saturday off, in inverted commas, looks like for you guys?
Well, it ended up almost being a Saturday off because nearly every game was cancelled. So I actually ended up going to watch Worthing versus Chippenham. Because I cannot abide sitting in the house on a Saturday afternoon and not going to a game. But yeah, we woke up Saturday morning, and in fairness, Hammy and Andy had gone to watch York Wigan Friday evening, and then we woke up Saturday morning. Most of the games we were going to go and watch ended up, I know predominantly mainly in the northwest, were all off. So and then yesterday we were in, and then myself and the gaff straight from here shot up to watch Chesterfield Leyton Orient. So had the weather been better, we would have been at more games, but unfortunately it led to just trying to find a game, really.
I know these are all sort of a mix of team scouting, player scouting. What value do you put on seeing teams and seeing individuals in person, in the flesh, live?
Yeah, well, in fairness, one thing I would say, now, the way that the game's changed over the last 5 or 6 years, you can watch any game at any time through the information that we get fed to us with our computers. So, however, you don't get a feeling about the game. You don't get a feeling in terms of momentum within the game, how teams have changed shape, because sometimes it's not as easy to see. So certainly from a next opposition, from my point of view, it's vital that if you can, and we were very lucky yesterday that obviously Leyton Orient were playing at Chesterfield. From our next opposition point of view, it's pretty important. Obviously, we don't always have that luxury. Most teams play when we play, and you end up having to watch it on our computers. But if you can, it is vital. And then obviously from a player recruitment point of view, the more you can see them live, again, really important in terms of just little things like body language, how they are in the warm-up, what they are in terms of how they react to things not going their way, and things like work ethic off the ball. So it's becoming less and less. 10, 11 years ago, you had to go to the game because you just didn't get the footage. But now you can clap eyes on anything. But in terms of actually seeing it live, it's pretty vital.
Odd week for you again, playing Tuesday, not Saturday, then Tuesday. How the squad, how the boys looking? Yeah,
good. They had a couple of days off Friday, Saturday, because obviously we wanted to come in on the Sunday. So we were in Sunday, came into a good 4 or 5 inches of snow, which was a bit disruptive. But we managed to get a good session in, and then obviously got out there today in the wind, the rain, the cold. But having had a couple of days off, they've come back pretty refreshed and chomping at the bit.
And as you were in terms of personnel, injuries?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think, really. The game seems so long ago now. But yeah, as we were. And so we had, 15 or something training today. So yeah, the lad's been pretty good.
Tyrese John Jules made such an impact at Port Vale. I know it feels like weeks ago now, doesn't it? How careful are you going to have to be with him? Because he's not played a lot of football for a long time, all things considered.
Yeah, very careful. In an ideal world, somebody comes on, makes an impact like that, you're thinking, right, go on, we'll throw him in and get a half a game or whatever it is. But we've worked so hard to get him to where he is now. And obviously he played, was it 1 or 2 games, sub, I think, before he did this latest injury. And what we don't want to be doing is going back through that again, because it showed on Tuesday evening that we need everybody, and we don't know who it's going to be. We don't know who it might be that gets the goal on Tuesday night, on Saturday, or whatever it is. And in fairness, not many people would have gone for Tyrese for the Port Vale game. But having different options, being able to rotate, being able to make those important substitutions, and he's part of that. So we need to ensure that the last couple of months worth of hard work from the medical team don't just go to waste by a blasé attitude of, well, he's all right now, we'll just throw him back in again. So in terms of actually starting games, it still could be a while away. We have to get him more robust in training. He's had a really horrible time from a personal point of view and in injuries. Yeah, we have to take our time with him.
EFL Trophy on Tuesday night. How different is knockout football? Obviously, you've come through the group stage.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, in the group stages, most teams predominantly could get away with losing one and still go through. And then if you lost your first one, then you get the opportunity to rejig your team and maybe play slightly stronger. And obviously in this one we don't. It's, you know, straight through. I think it's 4 or 5 games now of straight knockouts. So obviously we want to do well in it. We want to keep the momentum going. We want to have a run in this. But obviously we were aware that we've got a game coming up on Saturday as well. So yeah, it is different, and there's no extra time as well. You know, obviously it just goes straight to penalty, which becomes a massive lottery. So in an ideal world, you want to win it within 90 minutes.
You had success in the competition a few years ago, and you combined that with success in the league as well. Did they sort of complement each other, the two competitions that season?
They did for us, yeah. It gave us opportunities in the first 4 or 5 games up till about probably the quarter-final, last 16, for us to give squad players vital minutes. It gave us opportunities to try different things. It gave us opportunities for players who were maybe out of a little bit of form to try and play themselves back into form, which then allowed, you know, the squad players who were playing regularly in the cup competition to then make a greater impact on a Saturday when they were coming on for half an hour because they were up to match tempo. I mean, I think we only had 21 players in the squad, so it enabled us to keep people fit. It enabled people to stay injury-free, but it kept people in good shape. So like I say, they were coming on at half-time, 60 minutes, whatever it was, and they were hitting the ground running in terms of the tempos of the game. So, but also, I think we went on some, I don't know, 20-odd game unbeaten run, which also incorporated that winning mindset to ensure that, you know, the lads just never knew when they were beat. So in the end, we didn't care what competition we were playing in. It was just about winning, and the lads continued it.
And your opposition on Tuesday night, you faced them once already this season, but new manager since then. How different do they look to you?
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, one thing I would say is that you know, the home game was a really tough game. I think we won 1-0, you know, that was probably around about the time that our home form, we had new players. We were trying to gel everybody together. So, but it was a really tough game, and there wasn't much in terms of separating the teams. But yeah, new managers come in, and obviously he had a positive impact on the results. They've obviously had a tricky last couple of games, resulting with the FA Cup at the weekend. So, you know, they'll be looking to try and put that behind them, and obviously take their form into the league as well. So yeah, I'm expecting that they've got some good quality players who are experienced at this level, a goal threat at the top of the pitch. So we're not envisaging this is just a normal cup game where we're going to turn up, it'll be fine. We said to the lads this morning, we have to treat this as a League One game. We're playing against a League One team, and one thing I do think is that I think people are taking this competition a little bit more seriously over the last couple of years. I'm looking at the teams that teams are playing. If you'd have looked 4 or 5 years ago, it was predominantly players who weren't playing, younger players. A lot of people made their debut, which is great for this competition. But I think over the last couple of years, ourselves, obviously, Bolton last year, Plymouth, all got to the final and have continued that in league form. So I think people are now recognising that it's a good opportunity to keep momentum going.